What's up, everybody? It's Joe La Puma. You were listening. You were watching the Complex Sneakers podcast. As always, I'm with my guys. First off, to my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
We need to rename this to some sort of early morning.
It's very early.
News show.
Very early. They came in early for me. I appreciate it.
I'm surprised we don't have the coffee mugs here.
I had a big Dunkin' Donut, 2 espresso shots. Now
You're a Dunkin' guy?
I am a Dunkin' guy.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Well documented. Dunkin'. I did
not a coffee drinker, right?
No, what is?
I did an interview 6 years ago. And
well documented.
Yeah, no. It was
you talked to somebody once 6 years ago about what you do for breakfast. And
I didn't even intro you yet, Mr. Brendan Dunne. Starting off, look it. He came. Could have been 7 a.m.
Yeah, look at
it. Could have been 7 a.m. He came in firing. But yeah, they asked an interview asked me my coffee of choice.
Your New York Times?
My Sunday routine. Never got the Sunday routine in New York Times. No, it wasn't Covitor. It was something else.
Well documented. What was it?
It was something else. It was
not
something
well
else.
enough.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
We shot it at Time Life. I remember.
Okay.
I'm surprised you don't remember.
No,
you remember everything.
I was gonna say Joe La Puma of famous want to be patented idea of having a piece of gum underneath.
Now everyone's gonna steal it.
Wait a minute. What are we talking about?
Remember the sample?
This is a Complex Sneakers podcast.
Yeah, but I was saying
Emphasis on sneakers.
There was some sort of idea to have a piece of gum or a mint included in on a coffee cup.
Oh, that was your $1 billion idea?
I got it wrong the whole time.
Yes,
and I thought that Joe didn't like the taste of coffee, which you said you don't.
I don't.
I don't. I just do it kind of.
Why don't you grow up?
For energy.
I thought you meant put a piece of gum within the bottom of the cup.
No.
So the coffee was
You don't remember I sampled this?
In the mint.
You don't remember the prototype that I showed you guys in Slack a year ago? It was the plastic cup with a little piece of gum taped, and maybe we'll work on the production. But now it's gone because you just said it to the public. So
you make your exit from Complex.
That's
to
it.
start
That's it.
Your beverage business with the gum attached to the bottom of the disposable cup.
Hey, listen.
Starbucks, get in touch.
Maybe a Dunkin' guy, but maybe not. If someone wants to approach,
wherever the price is,
getting out our dreams, right? What do we got? We're back in the studio.
Dreams and nightmares.
It's life, literally life. Back in the studio, gang's all here.
We often do these little PSAs. It's not that important.
Yes.
I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but we're recording this a little early. Can we say why we're recording it early, Joe? Or should we talk about that when you...
We'll talk about it when I get back.
Okay,
yes,
Joe's
I'm headed out of the country with a group of people.
Okay, we'll talk about... It's an exciting one. We'll talk about it when you get back.
Is it just you? Or
nope, it's just us. Oh, boy. I'll take it. Yeah.
Firing on all cylinders this morning. Not unlike a luxury automobile.
You lifted today?
Thursdays have become rest days.
Okay.
You look well rested.
Yeah. You have a lot of energy. Maybe we should move up the shoot time. Yeah, start time.
Man,
all right.
There's been some interesting energy floating around this week. Welty and I were, and I don't like to do this publicly too much, but Welty and I were doing the classic crabby sneaker media person thing of, why wasn't I invited to this party?
Yeah,
How come Adidas had this? Nike doesn't care about me for this.
Yeah.
I saw.
Brands throwing parties and not inviting us, Welty. What's up with that?
I don't know.
This is a bit of bickering that's best to be kept in the private sector because it's the most childish thing to worry about. Because we're still getting these. Listen, whether or not we got access on an official brand level, we're still getting these stories out regardless. But come on, you throw a little PR event for the launch of your new thing. You got some finger food there. You might have some miniature glizzies, and you didn't invite Matt Welty, Brendan Dunne. I know Joe La Puma was invited.
Playing devil's advocate here.
Okay.
A week ago on this podcast, he said he got numerous slew of invites to parties, and I think the quote was, "I just didn't have the energy." Not that I was out of town. Not that he had plans. Just I didn't have the energy to go. You were out of town.
Counterpoint? Not today, Satan.
Wait, so what are you guys talking about?
I don't know.
Well, anyways, I think
some Adidas event.
The one that Brendan had brought up is that there was an Adidas block party.
Yeah, or not a block party, but
a block party on your block. I can see Nike doing that to you a little bit. That's
the you know that meme of there's kind of a nerdy white teenager, and he has a
Is this me?
No, he has a T-shirt on, and it says, "I went to your hood and nobody knew you."
Wow,
that's
wow.
Adidas to me.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Well,
listen, Hey, we're not as hot as we're not that hot out here, huh?
I guess
You
not.
know?
Oh, you know what though? I did get an invite. You know what? Because I'm going to be at the Austin Grand Prix
Oh wow.
at the F1 race in October.
Wait, you became an F1 influencer?
that easy.
Listen,
Actually, no, it wasn't easy.
yeah,
We worked hard for this shit.
48 consecutive podcast mentions.
Trying to plant the
Some of the
seed.
guests just being like, okay, yeah, but listen, he
Guess
got
what?
his invite.
We'll be credentialed up in
Yep.
Austin for the Grand Prix. I'm going to be down there with Pirelli. We're going to be spinning the
All
tires.
right,
Yeah.
want to wear the hat? You know, I have a
Do you,
hat.
get, do
Yeah.
you get to go in the pits?
I don't know. I think we'll have. They mentioned something about some hot laps. So yeah,
Oh, so you get to do a ride along?
I might even get to drive.
Who do
I
you
hope.
think,
I'm praying.
out of the three of us, who would be the best pit crew member?
Well, I mean, there's of course the Oregon pit crew, the Oregon
Well,
Ducks fan section.
I think
Different,
so
though,
I
right?
think
Yeah.
I think record has showed, and I think we've maybe done this on multiple occasions, where me and Brendan Dunne have been tasked to see who can
This is true, yep.
lace a sneaker faster,
Yep.
Really?
and I've beaten him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
wow.
Welty's probably more manually adept.
I could, yeah.
I'm not very good with my
So
hands.
if we have to go,
couldn't much. What did Jay-Z say? Couldn't much work with my hands. Yeah.
I think he would.
Yeah.
probably-
And you know, your father is kind of from that world of race cars and
Yes.
stuff, right? So
I've
I feel
spent some time in pits in the
yeah,
past.
you know, where do you rank, Joe?
Dead last. 3 of 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Worse than me?
I'll be in the pit crew calling AAA. Is that available? Just the race, losing the race for everyone.
Oh yeah, but I'll be at Austin, and I'll be at Vegas next year for sure.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
All
Only
right.
been to Austin once.
Where is that?
I already
Texas.
already
What is
bought-
it?
I already bought-
Austin. Where is
Yeah.
it? Texas.
Wait,
Sorry,
Yeah.
I know I
Great
mentioned that story on
Bands.
Great
What
verse,
else?
yep.
BMW. Shout out to Kith.
Great verse. Oh yeah.
What else could we get excited about? SB or Jordan Force? Joe?
Got tons of ats. Listen, he said it last week, but I'll say it. We really appreciate the fans listening and picking up the little things that we talk about
Yep.
and mentioning it, adding. Keep the ats coming.
Yeah, we need
Maybe
those
less
bits.
on the glizzies and more sneakers, but I really do appreciate the Jordan 4 SB Wear Test P-Rod.
All black.
P-Rod in the gym, all black.
doing one-legged box jumps.
Doing a lot
and-
of
The way
calisthenics.
P-Rod was moving around, I thought he was on the Joe La Puma workout plan because I thought he was trying to just get those calves right to be like you know what I mean?
I will say I did see some workouts that I used to do during my soccer and track days warming up. So, yeah, I thought it was me out there. I'm not going to lie. I thought for a second,
Who
you
got
know,
this video?
not that him and I look alike, but we don't not look that
Yeah,
alike.
Not so dissimilar.
But, yeah, Jordan 4.
it was all black.
Yes.
But I think I got a good metaphor here. You thought you were flying high like Aladdin through the sky, and then you got the literal rug pulled out from underneath
Whoa.
you.
Listen, totally.
Sick.
What's a phrase? What's
How could you possibly put it better than he just did with the rug and
no?
Aladdin?
But there's a better phrase like I
You
don't know,
literally got the
something-
rug pulled out from underneath you on this situation, Joe.
I'm
Yeah,
told that
this guy. I'm going to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was a late night slack.
it's a Black Cat Jordan 4, so people are automatically thinking about Joe La Puma more than
How many
anybody else.
pairs,
More
this
than a
and
Black
that.
Cat Michael
The best-
Jordan
the
himself.
best-
Listen, it's a shoe that's meant to be worn and beat. I'm all in.
The best comment was, as Brendan had said, how many
I know, he
something?
loves
How many
Endless
pairs
Summer.
does Joe need? And the best comment left on it was "Endless Summer Part 2."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know that like you like to poke fun on that, but we'll see. One
said
day
to
you're
see
going to get
first.
sentimental about something, and I'm going to keep poking at it. But that's
He's
okay.
gonna pull the rug off of you,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
exactly. But anyway, so going to bed, late night slack.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in after we're riding high. I'm riding high off
You're
the
excited about
potential.
this.
Yeah, we talked even 3 weeks ago. Talked to Evan Mock about the potential of a Black Cat SB 4.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do?
I am told, and I told you this, that colorway is not what the actual shoe will look like. That it's just because it's a wear test sample version.
I
of
think
it.
we had been told that before in the past.
Yeah,
I forget
yeah.
who told us, but someone told us that shoe was based because there was writing on the side of
Yeah.
the original one.
Yeah.
That original, the one you saw Costin, and I forget, who are we talking to about that?
Maybe somebody who we can't name. It might have been a little sneaky little tip. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm not sure. Sorry.
Yeah,
Then-
yeah.
but, like,
no, all good.
They had
You
said that shoe was made that way just so they could figure out the materials and fabrics rather than that being a final color.
And this is not uncommon for an early Nike shoe if they're handing it out to people to wear test to just be all black, and not an actual reflection of the colorway. I'm told the colorway will be like a pine green thing, something like the military blue 4. And Joe, as you can see on his
Nope.
face right now, is
Nope.
it's gonna be a white.
Devastated.
The crazy
like
part,
I
it's gonna
said
be
in
a
the Slack,
white.
Christmas is canceled.
It's gonna be
That's
a
it.
white
The
Air
Grinch.
Jordan. If there's anything you could be worse, you could make a white Air Jordan for Joe La Puma.
How could you be so into something and then in a span
But
of
what-
4 hours,
but
Maybe
what
you
if-
write a letter. Would you consider that? Or doing like a change.org petition to try and keep it Black Cat?
What if
This is just what I'm told. We
Hold on,
have this
hold
1,000% confirmed.
7 signatures, me, Evan Mock. Who else?
Olivia Kim?
Yep, Olivia Kim would be on
Alex
it. Who else?
Diamond?
Black Cat 4s.
But what if they do it? So remember the acronym Presto, right?
Yep.
Remember how there was the one pair that came in like that crazy colorway that
Neon?
was
The first set of the 3?
Yeah, the one that was like the neon with the 2 neon colorways. It was
Big
like
John
the
Mayer shoe.
infrared with like the lime green. And they said that the story behind that shoe is that they had done the factory wear test sample.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they had just put random fabrics on the shoe, and there was no intentions for the shoe to ever be that colorway. And when it came back like that, Errolson Hugh, designer, owner of Acronym,
Liked
said,
it.
hey, that looks pretty sick. We should make the shoe that colorway. What if they see the Air Jordan 4 SB in that Black Cat and Joe La Puma and Evan Mock raise enough of stink on the internet about it? You say, hey, you know what? We got it right the first time. We should have kept it that way.
Listen,
Do you foresee that at all?
these are the real issues I'm ready to tackle.
This is your platform?
Okay, these are the fights I'm ready
Yeah.
to get behind.
You literally told the SB Air Jordan 4, you thought I was failing you? I'm sorry. I had to sneak that in there.
Other sneaker news, friend of the show, Fat Joe,
Yes.
Fat Joe.
we had put out a clip.
Yeah.
One, Brianna Walker, coworker of ours, had
Yeah.
interviewed Fat Joe
At Up NYC,
At Up
right?
NYC, had a little clip of him talking about Virgil talking to him 2 days apparently before his passing that he wanted to do an off-white terror squad
Yeah.
Air Force One, which seems super believable because Virgil was into that whole like rare, important niche
Yeah.
Air Force One.
He knew the history of the
Yeah.
Air Force One and who was important to it and who contributed to it.
Yeah. And I think there was like he had shared it where like our friend PG, like he had hit up PG trying to get like HTM Air Force Ones back in the day.
Yeah.
Or like
he
trading him.
messaged him being like
you have any
NETS is
TSs?
floating
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. So he had said that Fat Joe had said that Virgil had hit him to do it.
Yeah.
And we post the clip, of course, because
Yeah.
he said it to us. And people in the comments, that's cap, that's cap, that's cap. Why is Fat Joe lying about this? Why is
Dude, if you think Fat Joe is
He
lying,
did the Duppy freestyle.
no, like how dumb do you have to be to think that Fat Joe is lying about that? Like, if you know anything about Fat Joe and his history in sneakers, and if you know anything about, I think, Virgil's eye for footwear and the way he studied and wanted to connect these cultural touch points, like it makes perfect sense, and I hope it still happens. I think it might. I wouldn't be surprised. It makes perfect sense to have a TS version of an Off-White Air Force One. So people on the internet saying that Fat Joe is lying, and then Fat Joe kind of responded in a way, right?
Yeah, he
Posted
had put a screenshot of a DM
Yeah.
where essentially Virgil was saying, "I think you're one of the important kings of the game," and Fat Joe's
Which is
like,
true.
"Thank you."
Yeah.
You know,
The quote, Virgil told him, the sneaker game wouldn't be what it is today without your contribution. I tell these kids from time. We got to tell these kids a little bit more
that's
often.
what
Don't
I
fucking-
said. I said
Yeah.
this, and before Fat Joe had posted that,
Yeah.
I fire off a tweet, which I'm wont to do. The weirdest thing is a lot of young sneakerheads are so far removed from the glory days of quote-unquote sneaker culture that they think Fat Joe is lying about Virgil wanting to do a terror squad Off-White Air Force One, and that's really disappointing.
I agree with you, but you don't think that perhaps the glory days of sneaker culture are happening right now as we hop on this podcast every week to talk about hot dogs and gym routines and things like that?
This
If this isn't the golden
is it.
age,
you know?
yeah, I hope that connection still manifests in some way. I hope that
But just to think that
I know.
you don't think that a terror squad Air Force One, which is maybe not to like, and this isn't trying to be gatekeeping or whatever,
yeah.
but to maybe the current crop of sneakerheads who have maybe gotten into shoes in the past few years, I can understand why a terror squad Air Force One isn't on their list of grails that they
Yeah.
want to obtain some part in their life.
Yeah.
But to also say there's like different, like, I don't want to say levels of grails, but like there's different like along like the years, you know, like the time length of sneaker culture or whatever. There's grails from different eras, right? Like last week, we're talking about the homegrown Air Max 90s. That shoe is a grail.
Yes.
It's undeniable, but
Yes.
obviously to a lot of, maybe to a 15-year-old kid, it's not a grail, but it still
way.
doesn't take away the fact that the shoe is a grail.
Yeah.
Same with Terra Squad Air Force Ones. Those shoes will forever be a grail.
And
Yeah.
what I used to love that Virgil used to do is he would pop out in shoes like if it was like a TS, like he would if he got it from PG, he would pop out in them, and then everyone would assume like, is he working on one? What's the deal?
Yeah.
Every time he popped out in a different like sneaker. It was like, is he? You remember that? Even I think like the Terra Umaro he was wearing for a bit, and it was
that
like,
right?
is this the one he's doing next?
Yeah.
I think Paul said he traded Virgil a pair of HTM Air Force Ones for like one of the Off-White sneakers.
Oh wow.
That wasn't out yet, and Virgil had it, and he
HTM
Made
Air
a
Force
swap.
Ones. What a classic show.
Another potential classic, according to the internet, according to the response that you got.
Oh yeah, I was surprised about this.
You know
Jarritos Nike SB Dunk Low coming 2023.
who reported that?
Come on.
My man to the left. Yeah.
Wait,
but
is it source of Brendan Dunne or source of Soul Collector? Is the biggest question, right?
oh, right.
There's a lot of
source.
sneaker-
As long as you put Complex or Soul Collector or Brendan Dunne in there somewhere.
Can you address that real quick? Because I feel like that's a big point of contention with you from time to time.
what?
That when you like do some sort of exclusive information,
Yeah.
that sneaker blogs don't want to credit the site that you work for and only want to credit you individually.
You were
don't-
saying the opposite.
I
You
don't.
were-
I don't care that much.
Yeah,
And again, this is to take it back to the conversation earlier about like inside baseball bickering that we do privately. Like the crediting thing is like something I definitely will send off a Karen email about. Immediately when I see it happening. But whether they credit Brendan Dunne or Complex or Soul Collector, it doesn't make that big of a difference to me.
I just thought you had, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, that you had thought sometimes that it's not that they're not crediting you for doing the work or whatever, but sometimes they want to like skirt around saying the word Complex or Soul Collector on their blog.
which-
Maybe, but it's hard for me to. People go online all the time and talk about what other people's intentions are or what they're trying to do without actually having any evidence and just making assumptions. And so, like, I don't want to do that same thing, not knowing, like, the random person who works at, X sneaker blog, like, what their day looks like and what their thought process is. I don't know if they're actually, just as long as the credit's in there, I'm mostly happy.
But
as happy as I
Jarritos,
can be. Yeah,
Nike
Jarritos,
SB Dunk.
yeah.
no one knows what they look like, and people were super excited about them.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I didn't think that was going to be that big of a response. But, Welty, you were thinking that this feels a little bit like maybe Chunky Dunky Part 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where it's safe to say that Jarritos is like a very loved cultural brand.
Do you ever drink them?
From time to time. I'm not a big soda person in general. If I do, I try to drink diet soda. If I do drink a soda, but don't really drink regular soda. If I do get Jarritos, I would say probably go guava flavor.
Okay.
Nothing against it.
No.
But in the sense that it's such like people are putting their, and I guess this is the way collaboration works sometimes, but it's people are just so excited about seeing Jarritos with the shoe
Yeah.
that it's bringing in so many people that maybe aren't even into shoes.
Which is fine.
Yeah. And that's, I guess, what these brands are going for
Yeah.
on the collaboration. Sometimes it gets a little murky, though, where it's like, is this really the best shoe within the sneaker world if 90% of the people who are super hyped about it aren't really sneakerheads?
Did you feel that way about Joe?
I feel that way
Joe's
100%
giving me a
about
look.
Chunky Dunky.
Okay.
Yes.
I
You
feel
don't- you don't- you don't-
You feel like much of the celebration or much of the fanfare from the Chunky Dunky came from outside the sneaker
I'm
world.
not saying the
and thus
people in the
isn't as
sneaker world
legitimate.
aren't into it,
Deep side from
but
Joe.
I feel like what propped up the Chunky Dunky to a large extent were people outside of the sneaker world.
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
Yeah, I think that when we talked about the Chunky Dunky, we kind of made the joke that it was like the news article that your aunt was sending
Yeah,
you,
yes.
like, oh, these shoes. But I think that there are people, real heads, who really like those.
I'm not saying that there isn't, but I think that just percentage-wise, the amount of people who get hyped about that shoe are from outside the sneaker world. Not people
More-
who own it.
More than regular sneakerheads?
Yes.
That's interesting. I don't know.
More,
I think
more than like an off-white shoe or something?
I think
Yes.
I think it definitely went more mass because it was like such a commercial type of brand. The shoe was loud. Everyone knows Ben and Jerry's, but I don't know if
But I can see that
more people who are outside of sneakers like it than who are inside of sneakers. I just think it got that big because of the whole different mainstream.
The niche sneaker world, and we can. This is another topic too, where it's like the niche sneaker world is much smaller sometimes than we think it is.
Yeah.
You know, because we're in the middle of it, but the people who are actually like hardcore sneaker nerd collectors are like a smaller piece of the pie than just people who buy cool shoes.
Yeah.
You know, just like mass market like cool shoes. So I feel like Ben and Jerry's, Chunky Dunky, and also we'll see because we haven't seen yet, but like even like something like a Jarritos Dunk is the sort of thing that you'll see like random people who aren't into shoes sharing on their Facebook page, like, oh, sick! How do I get these?
Yeah.
How do you like that?
I don't care, but I think sometimes you have to like look at it within a vacuum of like discussing what's like the best shoe of the year. And I'm not saying that people who aren't the biggest sneakerheads, their opinion doesn't matter, but I think sometimes you have to take it to an account if you're discussing what's the most popular shoe or what's the best shoe.
Just because more people liked it doesn't mean it's better, especially if those people who liked it don't necessarily understand everything about a shoe that the core audience does.
The thing about the Chunky Dunky that I always say is like it's probably one of the last shoes I would wear on feet, but I do think that just how crazy how it's designed, so many things going on, the insole, everything. I do think it's a very, very interesting sneaker.
And just the last thing I want to touch on, and then we can move on, but is because I think it was an interesting discussion that came up this week because I had posted something when I'd gone on a website. It was restocks.net, which is I guess a reselling site now, and they said these are the most popular shoes on the site.
Yeah,
and it was Panda Dunks, all white 550s, Panda Dunk High,
right.
in all white Air Force Ones, and none of those are bad shoes. Popular shoes, but you look at that as like that's like what's most popular in sneaker culture right now, and you're just like, wow, kind of boring. But then you get into the conversation, and the people from Private Selection were like, hey, it's not surprising because believe it or not, even though we're like a limited cool sneaker shop, 90% of the people who come into our store aren't sneakerheads.
That blows my mind. I am so surprised by that, but I guess to some extent it makes sense because if you're walking into one of those shops and just like window shopping or buying something off the shelf, I feel like if you're a proper sneakerhead, you might have done some more research and tried to look around on price or asked your friend how to get a pair, you know. But still, I'm surprised to hear that.
Or maybe the people who are buying those don't even think that you go into Foot Locker and buy these on release day. They just walk into a sneaker store and say, hey, Dunks for $160, I'll buy them.
Yeah, they don't know any better. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised when you said that, but it's a very interesting stat or fact.
Is Private Selection in a mall though?
I think so, yeah.
It's in Pittsburgh, right?
No,
I think they're in Texas.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe would that have anything to do with it?
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a lot of foot traffic for random people. And of course, they have the guy who looks like me, so I would think that
They just came to see you.
I would think that the 10% that are sneakerheads all flock there because Private Selection has one guy who, as our friend Fat Joe mentioned, looks quite like me. So it's just like, oh, how can I get some FaceTime with Brendan Dunne? It's not the real me.
Even back in the day, I would say, and this is different because this was a different era, like mass sneaker culture.
Yeah.
But working in the stores from like 2007 to like 2012. You'd maybe get one or two like actual sneakerheads.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Come in a day.
yeah.
Like that was it. Like people
agree.
who actually knew like not what Nike SB was, but like what a Tiffany Dunk was or what a Bacon Air Max 90 was back then. Those people were far and few between.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to that thing that we've talked about before of there was an era when you knew. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying not to laugh because off screen we have a producer crawling around on the floor to help turn on something.
Being real stealthy.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you, Craig. There was a time where he's crawling around again. I wish y'all could get this visual, but this is he's doing full on 007 right now. Unplugging cables. Oh man, I saw that cable at the start of the episode and I was like, is this cable always unplugged? I'm sorry.
Okay.
There was a time when you would see somebody wearing a certain pair of shoes and you knew immediately that you shared something in common. And I think that's less so now as sneakers have become more mainstream in this way.
Yeah.
Can we talk about one more pair of upcoming shoes before we give away some shoes and kind of get into the meat of the episode? Because this is one that Welty and I have disagreed on.
Oh, yeah.
I'll allow it.
Palace New Balance MT580.
Great shoe.
Don't like them.
Well, you're colorblind.
Let's hear it
so
out.
It makes sense.
Let's hear it out.
The end of discussion. You know what? The ad is amazing.
Yes, that's great.
Palace always kills those things, but I feel like the Stray Rats New Balance MT580s that are coming, I feel like those
I'm
better
in on
hit
those.
on what I want from a 580 and bring back that
Yes.
Stussy, Meta, mad
Yes.
hectic energy of like kind of earthy tones. Like the hairy suede on the Palace just looks kind of cheap to me. The speckling is okay.
Wait. We need to like rewind that back to go back. The most premium suede that you can put on a shoe looks cheap. That doesn't make sense.
To me, it just looks off. It's just not what I expect from a 580, and it evokes to me that era of a lot of like just mediocre 580 collaborations from the mid
No way.
2010s.
And there's the one pair that's like the purple, I think like a blue and yellow colorway. They're so good in my opinion, and I love the hairy suede on it. I love the callback to the bright colors. I like the Palace hit on the heel. It has the stash pocket on the tongue.
Stash pocket is cool.
And on top of it, I think and I've said this multiple times, when buying a shoe, the collaborator matters to me.
Yes.
Palace is a brand that I like can get behind.
Yes.
Stray Rats is like one of those ones where it's just I don't have any like connection
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to you.
to the brand. They've made some all right shoes, but I'm not like, oh man, like let me go grab that Stray Rats. Like,
But Stray Rats' New Balances in particular have like been very good across
Agreed.
the board, in my opinion.
And this 580 is really good.
I guess just like the clothing brand, it just isn't like
sure.
something that like I'm like just like dying to like
yeah.
get something from. So maybe the Palace one for me, it's like I'm just a little more excited on the project itself.
Okay.
Although I do think that Stray Rats has made some good New Balance shoes. I don't
Yes.
want to say put it that way, but just
Joe, are you riding with me on this one? Are you taking Stray Rats over
Yes.
Palace on the New Balance
Yes, I
MT580?
like those better, and exactly for the reason that you said, those undefeated,
Yeah.
Stussy,
All that,
Manhattan.
yeah.
Oh, man.
but the one pair kind of looks like that from Palace.
To
Not
me,
the gray and blue
maybe it's
pair.
because I'm colorblind, but it didn't evoke
Doesn't the
that
Stray
to me.
Rats one look
Yes,
very,
it looks like
it
it's
could
from
be the
that
fourth
era.
one
Yeah.
of that pack?
Yeah.
There has to be a complex page from back in the day that just has that triple New Balance collab. I just remember.
Either way, I'm happy that the MT580 era is here because
Yeah.
we were talking a lot about, or at least I was campaigning for that, and of course I'm sure that the return of the 580 was prompted directly by me saying a couple times publicly that I wanted the shoe to come back. So we can agree on that. We're happy that it's 580 time.
There we go.
Speaking of Japan,
Oh,
Let's give away some shoes.
big box here today.
big boxes only around here.
Okay.
Oh, look. Did you say big boxers?
I said big boxes only.
Oh, because I thought we were referencing it.
All right, do your little spiel. Right?
Each week on the Complex Sneakers podcast, we give away a special pair of sneakers. And in this instance, it looks like we're giving away 2 pairs of sneakers. We do this in collaboration with our good friends at eBay and their Authenticity Guarantee program. You can enter by going to ebay.complex.com and submitting a question for us. If we pick your question, if we select it, if we answer it here on the air, we're going to send you a free pair of sneakers from our good friends at eBay. Welty, what's in this big box you got over there?
Wow.
Well, on one part you got safari print. On one part you got cement print.
What could it be?
You got a big box.
Uh-huh. We all know what these are.
I think one of these shoes to me is a classic. The other one is a very good shoe that is slept on that I think Joe La Puma may be a fan of.
Okay. I
Okay,
wanna get
first
more
shoe.
into that. Yeah.
First shoe. This is a pack. So these are the Atmos
Classic.
Classic. I'm with you right there.
Air Max 1. So these ones are a little different though because this came in a 2-shoe pack. It has the Jumpman
Right.
logo on the bottom,
Right.
which is foreshadowing to the other shoe.
Anytime you say 2-pack, I think of what
Joe Budden.
2-pack of ass.
he says it all.
This is not
the time.
a. This is
He
not
says
a.
it all
This
the
is not a
time.
2-pack of ass. It's actually a
Anytime,
2-pack
like
of heat.
anytime you're floating around the 2-pack, that's all. It's like my brain is
I didn't know that these had a
programmed to you saying that.
very hairy suede tongue on it.
That's how you know they're good.
Yeah.
Loves Harry. This guy.
Joe, were you a
this
fan-
guy loves Harry
Were you,
Suede.
were,
Okay.
were you a fan of
I
these
need
when they
that
first
Bigfoot
came out?
skin.
I like those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is a great shoe.
Yeah.
Not the best Atmos Air Max 1 of all time, but
Biotech, right?
a great shoe.
Biotech is the
Yes.
best Atmos Air Max 1
Yes.
of all time?
That
Yes.
or the Safaris.
Okay.
And speaking of Safari, Atmos, I did Safari Air Max 1s. You got the Atmos Air Jordan 3s. This shoe is so slept on, in my opinion.
I'd see. I'm not disagreeing with you, but isn't that quite a surprising opinion from Matthew J. Welty?
It is. It is. Why?
You don't really see a lot of people wearing these, right? All right, it's an Atmos Air Jordan 3. It's a limited shoe, collaboration, black. with some nice suede on it, and it has
Safari Connection is kind of a nice one. Tinker
And
Hatfield original Safari.
look at
Nike Air on the back.
Nike Air on the back, good colorway. Like,
Can he gently pass it to me?
yes,
No throwing, because we know how often I botch that.
All right, he made his case. Good. Yeah.
Joe, you would wear those, right?
Do you have a pair of these, Joe?
I don't have a pair, but I would wear these.
It is weird to me to see, because I had the other retro that came out around this time of the Atmos
Yep.
Air Max 1, and to see the Jumpman on the bottom is such a weird...
So it's weird, right?
Yeah. I'm almost like, what brand lines did they have to cross and convince people? I'm not mad at these. What does it say on the inside of the tongue?
Oh, I was going to make a joke.
ED? No, it can't be ED. What is it?
It's Homeo telling you to go fuck yourself.
Wait, what tongue?
I don't know what that text on the inside of the tongue means.
It looks like 0320. Looks like numbers. I don't know.
This is embarrassing. Does anyone, Welty, do you know what the text on the inside?
Oh, it almost,
It's not a number edition because the numbers are too small.
That's what it looks like, but
It's not that.
I don't know.
Well,
One of life's mysteries that we'll never know.
okay.
If you know, drop it in the comments. Kevin Green, Indianapolis, asks, with the state of inflation and platforms increasing prices to buy and sell, do you think the people that came into sneaker reselling as a niche to make money will now turn away to other ventures and deem it not worth the hassle? Very well thought out question.
Yes, I do think that sneaker reselling in that kind of like mid-level of like brick flipping, of like
those people are the worst.
you know that.
Oh my god,
I don't.
I hate those people, man.
I've
The
said
what?
it.
The people who are like, those are bricks. Those shoes suck, and I'm like, I get it that you're looking at it from like a business standpoint, but just to deem shoes on whether they're like a flip or a brick, and just to be like, hey, those are good shoes. I like them.
Yeah.
Just get out. Get out of the conversation. I don't want to hear you talk about shoes.
Yeah.
The answer to this question, I think, is that if you basically came in as a reseller of sneakers, and depending on how your interest level in sneakers in general, but if you looked at it as a business, I think that you're monitoring what's going on and that you'll get into other verticals.
Yeah.
So, cards, things like that. I think that if you have that like entrepreneurial spirit, it just doesn't start and stop with sneakers.
I don't have an issue with people making money off of shoes, and I don't want to be like demonizing resellers as a whole. But I do think that there is that weird gray area where it's like people who just don't care about sneakers, who just want to flip it, and then all of a sudden now they want to be like the pioneering voice and like what matters in sneakers. And it's like, if you don't care about this whole thing, then
Just because you like hit on 300 pairs of Jordan 13s off of
it's just like
spot
it's
doesn't
cool
mean
for
that
you to make your money
yeah.
and like go, but like don't try to like make a presence in this space of what is cool and what isn't cool if your whole only purpose to be in this space was just to make quick money. That's all.
Yeah, and I do think that kind of reselling will probably slow down. I mean, I think brands are always fighting to get a little bit of that money back. I think botting is probably not as easy as it once was. I'm not an expert in that world, but that's what I hear from people who are. So I think, especially in the way that sneaker reselling went so crazy during the pandemic.
Well, everything went crazy during the pandemic too.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people, a lot of the young people who kind of really spent a lot of their lives on that will kind of move away from that. So that's sneaker reselling isn't going anywhere. And
No, for sure. But it's like when every single shoe is being sold for resale, it's like then nobody wants to buy any of the
to make
shoes.
$20 per pair and sell 1,000. I think we'll see less of that going forward. Okay. Did we figure out yet what's going on with the tongue on the Atmos Jordan 3?
Should I look it up real?
Yeah, because I genuinely don't know. Welty, what is the other tongue? Is it any different? I never knew.
I'm
that
just
this was
curious
on this
as
show.
to why this shoe's so slept on.
I think it will be no longer now that you made the public service announcement.
Just I don't know. You never really see anyone wear this. No,
Yeah, no, you're right.
Wouldn't be the first time you unlocked.
Oh yeah.
What was it?
Oh,
No. Unlocked.
I
Another
unlocked a
private
bunch of shoes for
conversation.
Adidas in the North American market that they could never find out a way to sell themselves.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Went there. You didn't see the
That's
quote?
true. That's true. That's
You
right.
didn't see
I'm
the
not
QC?
saying- I just felt like I stepped on it, and we were talking a little bit. So what is it again?
I unlocked
Let me
a
see the
bunch of
tongue.
shoes
No,
within the North American market for Adidas that they couldn't figure out a way to sell on their own.
And he still didn't get invited to the block party. 3/26 Air Max Day.
Oh my God, is that what it says? Give me the shoe back. Is that really what it says?
Podcast canceled. Everything canceled.
Oh, it's upside down.
Here we
Yeah,
are.
it
Here we
is.
are
It's-
saying like if you're just a reseller, you don't know anything about sneakers.
is.
Don't
These
try and
were
be a voice. But we can't even figure
2017
out.
they released
These-
on Air Max
these were the
Day.
Air Max
Hello.
Oh my God, yeah.
Little
we are-
early. We thought that we came in very
we're the-
sharp.
We're the voices, and we definitely know when Air Max Day
The
is.
trusted voices.
3/26.
There's the thumbnail.
Mark it on your calendar. Should we talk about the shoes we're wearing now that we've given
Yes,
those away?
we should.
Okay. Welty, what do you have on feet?
First time breaking these out. Got a lot of hate the first time I posted these on the internet.
You wearing socks?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because it's raining. I was just.
These are the Tombogo Saucony Butterfly.
I've seen those a lot on my timeline.
Me too.
But
Big
a lot.
Instagram shoe.
When
Yeah.
I posted them at first, because our friend Jay Festino, who works at used to be at Extra Butter, works at Saucony, helped Trinidad do his collaboration. He was posting these heavy, and I'm like, dude, I need a pair of those.
Yeah.
And this was like months and months and months ago, and he finally was like, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
And then I posted them, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's a worst take shoe. What's this trash?" Da, 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 da. And now you see a lot of people wearing them.
Are you saying that you unlocked those? Too?
I may have
Once
unlocked.
again,
I may have unlocked those in the North American
unlocking
market.
everything.
Hey, keys open
Like
doors,
the super.
man.
Yeah, the super. Unlocking everything. That's what he does. Okay? Got the keys. Got the keys.
You can hear him coming down the hallway with a big ring on his belt.
Just like all the keys. Unlock. Listen, you need something unlocked? Here's your man.
I got you.
Love it.
I don't dislike that shoe, but I'm just confused because I still don't know what is Tombogo, and I saw a lot of people going to the show.
Well, yeah, it's a brand. And there's a guy. His name is Tommy Bogo. I guess
Okay.
that's the designer.
No,
behind
hey,
it.
I just don't. I feel
Yeah.
like it came. In my brain, it came out of nowhere, and I was like, wow, everybody's posting about this and these shoes in the fashion show.
Some people were asking, "What's the fit on these?"
Yeah.
They don't.
It's
come,
funny they went from hating to asking
Yeah.
you how exactly
They
can make
don't.
them look good.
They
on their
don't come
feet.
in half sizes. Full sizes only. And I would suggest if you're in between to go up.
Well, we know I'm a 10,
Okay.
so not an issue.
That's true. Our friend the Brannick is right there at all
Just in
times.
case.
Got some JLP classics on.
Yeah, tie-dye, XT4, Solomon's, rainy day. Sometimes I don't even take the umbrella. I let the rain,
Yeah, very Oregonian of you.
That's it. Like, I knew it was raining. I looked out the window. I was like, do I need the umbrella?
Did you had your Hillary Duff moment?
What is that?
Let the rain fall down.
That was a banger, right?
Which one is that?
Come clean. It was the theme song to The Hills.
I've never seen that.
Hold on.
That's a TV show, right?
Yeah, it was like the continuation of Laguna Beach.
Okay. All those.
Can
I have a big pop culture blind.
Yes,
This
he's
is, we
right.
can't clear this.
He's
Why
right.
are you
I know,
playing
but
the
I had to
song?
check. I had
Why are
to
you
check.
playing the song,
I had to
dude?
check because the Hills is very important to me, and he's right. I had to fact check that.
Okay.
The tongue. I'll look it up when I get a chance. The Hills. the Hills very
theme song.
important. Yeah, he's right.
It's very important to you. Can you explain that briefly?
I used to love the Hills every iteration.
You're a big LC guy?
Kristen Cavallari guy.
What is LC?
Lauren Conrad.
Damn.
Big Kristen Cavallari fan. That they were.
Yeah.
It was
I'm less
static.
about.
They had static.
Listen. I'm less about Cavallari and more about Caballero.
Oh!
Because I got the half cabs on today. You
Look
like
at that
that? You
segue.
like that?
Look at
little
that
transition
segue.
like I'm skating.
Look at that segue.
Vans half cab, Our Legacy, orange suede pair. There's also a black pair that I have. At one time on Halloween, I did one orange and one black.
You wore those to the UK, right? Once?
Orange is the new black. Yeah, I went to the release event for them. I feel a little bit silly today because I'm wearing these pants with the orange cuff on them, and I decided to wear the pants, and then I was like, what shoes do I want to wear? And I decided I want to wear these shoes. Am I doing too much right now with the
No.
orange on the orange?
No, it's fine.
You guys are leaning like crazy.
No.
Okay, thank you. Well, so you said it's fine.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
All right.
No flag on the play.
Yeah. Imagine. No, go change.
Oh,
All right. So one thing that we wanted to do on this podcast, we've been flirting with it for a while, is like basically looking at old lists that we've done, and I think we'll go even further than what we're gonna do now. We're gonna like ease into it, and then kind of like look what has aged well, what hasn't. I know that you always talk about basically the early list where you were like, what is going on here, which we'll save for another day.
We've
Probably
talked about it many times.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
2014.
You
well,
felt like you were the sole voice of reason in the room,
Yeah.
arguing against a bunch of old guys.
No, it wasn't arguing a bunch of old guys. It was arguing about a bunch of people who like really didn't know that much about shoes, but had like a title at the company, and they would like try to override you on things.
you're talking about me.
I'm not talking about you.
Okay. So 2018, we're going to start basically, and you know, I was telling you guys, like, Bill Simmons redrafts NBA drafts. He picks years. I think this could be a really good exercise.
Yeah.
We're going to start at 2018 because I like this.
This was also one of the most epic sneaker panels at Complex Con.
Oh,
Yes.
Sneaker of the Year?
Yes.
This was like the
Contentious?
No, it was just like the Hall of Fame. You had Wale, Allen Iverson.
Yep.
I think
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Wait,
I think,
wait. Hold on. Let's
I
check
think
that.
Trinidad was there, or maybe he went in 2019. I think.
Might have been 2019. I don't know. No offense, Joe. But
No, I
Lena
think
Waithe.
Trinidad was there. I think.
No offense. What, you were at California Pizza Kitchen when this was going on?
Complex
Wait,
Con?
no.
The game.
The game
showed up like halfway through the
Yeah,
panel.
this was a classic. The game. Allen Iverson, Wale, Sean Weatherspoon,
Yeah.
Lena Waithe. Who else?
Sean Witherspoon now on Twitter. Go follow your boy.
Yep.
Clark Kent. Oh, this was a big one.
Yeah. Classic.
Trinidad.
Trinidad was there. Yeah.
Yeah, my boy
Okay,
Trinidad.
okay.
Don.
Don C. Ronnie.
That was like
Listen,
wasn't that
is-
one
they-
of
they
the,
were just
Ronnie
adding
twice.
seats. They were
Wasn't
just
that-
adding seats to this.
wasn't that one of those last minute ones too? I
Yes.
think you had said that like there was all these like people on
Oh,
it.
it's supposed to be like 5 people.
That's
They
what
just-
I mean.
yeah.
Ronnie had heard that like all these people were on here, and he's like, I want to be part of it too. You know, like
Welty, do you think we were? Do you think we were on the bubble for this? Or do you think we were anywhere near like down the long list of names of famous sneaker people who wanted to join in on Joe La Puma's conversation about the best
wait.
sneakers of the year? How far down that list do you think we were?
One
Welty?
correction. Sean Weatherspoon was not on this panel. The game, Allen Iverson, Ronnie, DJ Clark Kent, myself, Don C., Wale, Lena Waithe, Trinidad James. Wow.
that's
Wow.
like such a crazy sneaker
Wow, I love
lineup.
it. I love it. Anyway, I like this year because I feel like number one is interesting. I
Okay.
feel like we did okay, and then
You feel like there's some misses?
there was
Okay.
some misses.
So
So
we're looking back at the 2018 Complex Best Sneakers of the Year list and trying to figure out where we were right, where we were wrong, what looks bad in retrospect. Is that basically the exercise here?
Yeah.
So one of the things, and I've had this conversation in my head lately, which I do about sneakers often. So number 10, right? Air Jordan 11 Concord.
Yes.
Right? Retro, but
every year it
I
comes
think
up.
I think it definitely deserves to be on the list. But here's sometimes where I feel like the disconnect happens when we make these lists and the people who are consuming our lists. So to some people, the Air Jordan 11 Concord is the best shoe
Yes.
of the year because it's
And of all time.
well,
yes.
Clark would be like, it could be released every year, and it would be number one.
But to some
every
people,
year. He
it's
says that
it's
a lot.
clearly like their favorite shoe of the year, their favorite shoe that they got to purchase. It's also a shoe that 1 million people got to purchase.
Yeah.
So I think it's like it's graded on a different scale, right? Than trying to compare the Air Jordan 11 Concord to the Union Air Jordan 1 is like it's really impossible to be like,
Yes.
which one is better?
And that's why
out of
I
these
think
two?
on this list, the number one, we put it because it was a new silhouette. Which I think it's like it's graded on a curve when we do that.
Well,
Yeah,
you also
yeah.
had to put into consideration that whole time period. Number one shoe, can we say it?
Yeah. I don't think we need to go in order here. We can
it was
just discuss
the
whole
the
thing.
Element React.
87.
love that
87.
shoe.
But at that time, the thing I think is important to take into consideration, it was like fresh off of Ultra Boost, NMD, like
Adidas dominance.
or just like new silhouettes coming into the space and being like that next shoe that all of a sudden you just saw everywhere. And I feel like at this time was right at the tail end of that period. But when the Element React came out, it was introduced via the Undercover collaboration, which felt like a big deal
Love that shoe.
at the time, but they all sold out at first. You know, you're like, oh, this is
Yeah,
going
those
to be.
first two colorways.
As our good friend Gerald Flores writes, the sneaker was first unveiled at Undercover's Paris fashion show, but the general release version of the React Element 87 didn't need a rapper or pro athlete's name attached to it. It was simply a sleek sneaker that looked like the future.
Yeah, we felt like that shoe was going to be like the next big mass market,
Yes.
like sneaker you see everywhere, everyone could buy. Then Nike just went, like
Well,
Rochified
All
it.
the
I mean-
undercovers. There was like what, 4 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a Nike preview at a seating suite, and they were like, "Pick out what you want here."
Back when we got invited. Go
Yeah,
on.
shout out our guy Rico.
Shouts to Rico.
He just got married.
Shouts to Rico.
Congratulations. I'm married to the game.
He's like, "Pick out whatever you want."
Yeah.
And I had taken the Para Air Max ones, like the cloud-looking ones, and I had taken the Undercover Reacts, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be too greedy and like ask for like 20 things or whatever," because my relationship with Nike was contentious anyways at the time.
Why? Because you were
Because I wore Adidas to the Nike office.
so Babs. Come on.
But I passed up, and I had put out this recently. I had passed up getting the Serena Air Max 97s for the Undercover Reacts. What a dumb decision.
You know what? The Undercover React was a shoe that I was so big on that I was like, and I've never really speculated on a shoe financially of being like, oh, this could be big, I'm going to buy a bunch. But it was cheap at the time, and I like bought a couple, and I was like, should I just buy 10 pairs of these because I think that they'll go up in price? And this is how you know, never like look to me for financial advice when it comes to sneaker investing. And now the shoe is like not worth that
I had
much.
a lot of
Big JLP shoe.
huge JLP shoe. Don't want to refer to myself third person, but wore the GRs for the Ronaldo episode.
The black pair?
Yep, those I cannot part with. Those are still by the door. I haven't worn them in years, but they're still by the door in my apartment.
The translucent upper has like dust all like
Yeah,
not
it's
translucent
you don't
anymore.
need the Windex, but undercovers I bought a ton, even like the lime green ones.
That's the one I had. The one I think it
the
was
blue and red ones were fire.
Those
had-
undercovers are
Yeah,
the
those
green
are all
pair with like
incredible.
the blue heel on it. I think.
I bought those on resale. I bought 2 of the colorways. But Welty, you said that this looked like, and this is why we nominated it, it was going to be the next big shoe that was everywhere and you could get. I feel like it successfully fulfilled that mission. Like,
But I also feel like at that time too, like the next year,
Yeah.
it's like 2019. It's like sneaker culture kind of like shifted away from those shoes being the shoes that mattered within the space, and then all of a sudden, that's like when you saw like the Air Jordan 1
take off.
take off, and it was like the opposite of that just style and aesthetic.
Yeah, true.
But here's the thing: the number 2 shoe
Should have been the number 1 shoe.
should have been the number 1
Yes.
shoe.
Yes.
Looking back, without a doubt,
Yeah.
the number 2 shoe should have been the number 1
The
shoe
Sean
of that year.
Witherspoon.
Yeah, Sean
Definitely.
Witherspoon Air Max
Still
197.
holds up.
A classic. I'm very conservative about the use of the word classic, especially in sneaker writing. People use it all the time. It's just a generic adjective that doesn't mean anything, but this is a classic.
So, Austin Bailey, the sneaker shopping booker,
Mm-hmm.
who does an amazing job, is our right hand.
Champion.
I remember saying when we were trying to get Pharrell, you book Pharrell, I get you whatever sneaker you want. Right? Mm-hmm. He's not, Austin is not a sneakerhead. He's like obviously around
Yeah.
us.
He
so-
likes some shoes.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And I remember like him just being like, if it ever happens, I want the Sean Witherspoon Nike Air Max.
Automatic.
Yeah, and I say that to say it broke through even like the sneakerhead market in the every tunnel that you saw that year, the sneaker aged so well.
Yeah.
So anyway, he books Pharrell season finale, and then he has the Sean Witherspoon. I got him the Sean Witherspoon, and it's just like, to me, I tell that story because I think it's like, no matter how close you are to it, you remember that, like, that shoe is so
Yeah.
recognizable.
And just a peak of Air Max Day. Air Max Day has fizzled out a little bit, and I think Nike has had a hard time like continuing to one up it, and I think they've shifted away a
Well,
little
I mean,
bit.
you had like we just talked about it. Like,
yeah, the Atmos.
like not just this pack in general, but like when that Atmos Air Max 1 like came back,
Yeah.
like that was like people cared about Air Max
Yeah.
Day, you know?
But then the Sean Witherspoon Air Max 197 was the best version of Air Max Day there's ever been.
And I tell that story, I like bury the lead. I tell that story because like it probably is a recent grail to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Oh, yeah.
that, like the one that they always saw that escaped them or
So-
they didn't get. It's just like, this was the number 1 shoe.
So that shoe, right? And correct me if I'm getting this wrong, but that shoe, like, I don't want to say it almost didn't happen, but that was part of that like vote forward
Yes.
Yeah.
program where like the consumers actually had to choose which shoe they wanted. So that shoe could have not happened.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a van too?
Like
Yeah.
that went around.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a lot of
But there were a
support
few
for
other
it.
like there was like that Buzz Lightyear looking shoe within.
There were some absurd shoes in that group.
The thing about this shoe is like, the thing about this shoe is like, I wonder where it lands in the last
In that decade, maybe
10 years.
2010
Yes.
to 2020.
I wonder where it lands.
Do you think Franelations gets royalties off of it?
Franelations was in there. He was round 2. He was in round 2 Hollywood.
Well, apparently, they
It says it 50 it was so
like a big group of people who
Yeah,
kind of
you
came
wrote
together.
this blurb.
He had said, and we had talked to Fran about it. We had him on full size run. I believe he said that it was kind of like him saying to Sean, like, you should put the Air Max 1 sole on the Air Max 97.
I don't remember that. I don't remember.
I don't know
if Fran was
I believe
saying that.
I think that's what he had said, that was his contribution to it, which ended up being a big part of the shoe.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Ben Baller was also in those discussions as
yeah.
well.
They had a video, I think.
Yeah,
they had a
a big
video
group
when
of
Sean
LA
won,
people, yeah.
and it was all of them in round 2.
I love
Except
this shoe.
Nast, I think.
I love this shoe.
Oh, it's a great shoe.
Corduroy.
Should have been number 1. Number 3, Union Air Jordan 1. I'm cool with that. What do you think?
Great shoe.
Think that's at
To some people, that's like one of their all-time favorites.
Yeah, I think that you would still put, and we don't have to like totally re-rank this because
Yeah.
it gets too hard, like moving stuff. But unless we have a whiteboard, we should do like a board where we.
Yeah.
But
Union over React.
maybe the Union
Probably.
Jordan 1 over React.
Yeah.
I mean, the
don't know.
React could like go to number 10.
Really?
Yes.
In terms
No,
of
come
aging.
on, that's revisionist history.
If we're doing it now,
I guess that's literally what we're doing is revisionist
Yes.
history, right?
I mean,
Now the shoe doesn't.
you're
really
going to say
mean
that
much at all.
the React 87 more important than the Travis Scott Air Jordan 4?
No. But that's what happens with
hurts
these
me.
lists.
But I don't think that doesn't always mean that we were wrong in
No,
the
because
moment.
at the
It just
time-
means
but
that,
it's just things
history-
happen.
Yeah. What else is on this list? Fear of God 1. I think that would slide down a little bit.
I love Jerry,
Yeah.
but that shoe, I think it meant more in the time period
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like Nike basketball not being anything.
New silhouettes.
Brand new silhouette.
Yeah.
And like the whole story about him like going to Italy and creating the last and all this sort of stuff. So I feel like that's huge to it. And it was a huge like NBA style shoe
Yeah.
Yes.
It was around a lot.
at the time. Also super limited.
Yeah.
So I it's not like we were off to put it there.
At 5,
Yeah. And you also have to credit like those sort of things.
storytelling.
Just those little like tidbits of why this shoe may be ranked higher than the other
Yeah.
one, of just like bring back a retro versus like doing all
Totally.
of this to create a shoe. It
Where do you
adds
put the
more
yellow
to it.
one?
Oh, well,
I mean,
Yeah,
we,
just kidding.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
we made it pop, right?
Unlock that one.
We
Was
unlocked
that the same year?
We unlocked that one for
Was
the
that the
North
same
American
year?
market.
Yeah, it had to be.
No, it was 2019, right?
Oh, okay.
Chicago Complex Con was 2019.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
Sheesh.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, who knows?
Black cement, we don't.
But
really-
also Allen Iverson was there as well.
yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Black cement, we don't. Number 6, yeah.
Is it? But I mean, it's like I think that's an interesting one because it's always the conversation, and this is one of the recurring ones that we have when we talk about best sneakers of the year. It's like, how much credit does a shoe get for just being
Yes.
an old shoe that came back again? It
Yeah.
gets a little more credit if they're like they redid the shape or it's remastered, like they say the Jordans are, and it gets it better than previous iterations. But still, it's like I'll always buy a black cement Jordan 3, but I'm never going to be that excited about it. Probably.
Is it crazy to see the Concords at 10 and this at 6? That big.
That big gap there.
Yeah.
I like the black cement 3 better. So
One of my favorites. Of
Big
all time.
JLP shoe that didn't make the list that came out that year. Anna Wintour, Vogue,
Got my sister those.
Air Jordan 3s.
you
Got
think
my
this should have
sister
made the
those.
list?
No, I'm saying
Okay,
didn't make the
okay,
list, but I
okay.
said big JLP.
Got my sister those. Nikki
Big
Bella got
JLP
those on sneaker shopping, I believe.
and
Close to your
another
heart.
Like the hills.
big JLP shoe that came out that year that didn't make the list, and rightfully so. But the redux, the redux of the acronym Prestos.
Which colors?
These ones, the redos.
That shouldn't have made it?
No, I'm saying they wouldn't have made the list. They wouldn't have made the top 10. They wouldn't have made the
they
top
didn't.
10. I know you would have argued for it if we were in a meeting and you
Those
would.
black and grays.
Here, go argue for it right now.
Those black and grays
You
are
have the
great.
camera right now to
Those
make the
black
case.
and grays are great.
Okay, so take it back to like pretend it's 2018 and we're in a meeting and I'm like, hey,
2018.
You
This
don't
is
think those are
grim.
great?
This is grim.
no.
You don't?
No.
I don't like the yellow ones. I think the middle ones and the black and
2018.
I
You've
know
never
they
had a
matter.
Q-tip
I know
shoved
they
up your
matter
nose
to
before
you,
a
Joe,
shoe.
because
Oh,
it's a shoe
God.
that you love and wear all the time.
But-
But it's not a shoe that I love and wear all the
Well,
time.
you know who
so
loves it too? John Marcello might like the first batch.
yeah,
John Mayer.
John Mayer loves all those. I don't know. Those couldn't sneak in the top 10?
No,
All
it's
right.
just not that interesting.
Damn.
I mean, the first acronym set for sure.
Yeah. To me, it was just like another colorway of like the same collaboration that wasn't as good as the first ones.
Yeah.
All right. Fair. Number 7, Off-White Air Jordan 1, the white colorway.
Yeah, I guess you put it on the top 10. It wasn't that exciting.
You know what else
my
came out in
favorite.
2018 that we didn't put on the list?
What?
That I don't know if it makes the list now, but Travis Air Force Ones.
Which one with the?
The canvas?
Yeah.
I like those a lot.
I think it was actually the second one because it wasn't the all white. It was like the sail colored one.
Oh, okay. Then you don't need that on there.
Okay.
Because that's another thing where it's just like not that much of a change to it.
Levi's Air Jordan 4s.
I like those, but probably not top 10. I thought those were going to be bigger
I
than
love
they were.
that. I love that shoe.
Really?
So I like it a lot.
That shoe to me is
Blue jeans colorway?
Yeah.
It's so good. Like that.
I like
the
it.
red Levi's
The tab, yeah.
on it. I just think it was great. CDG Air 180s, Joe.
You can't put that on the list. That's a cool shoe, but you can't put that on 10 best sneakers of the year
Maybe
list.
not, but I like it.
like it
You're like, I don't know if it makes a list, but I can make an argument for it.
Should
I
we-
like the acronym batch better than that.
Maybe what we're discovering here, and I think we've kind of come close to this conclusion at times before, is that do we just abolish these lists altogether and just write about our favorite sneakers of the
No,
year? So that
these lists are great. We need more of them.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I love the
We
passion.
need more of 'em.
I love the passion.
We need more of them. I think we did so many that I was like, oh, another list. But no, I think we need more of them.
Some other Brendan Dunne shoes from that era.
He doesn't agree.
The one that I think
Keep
had,
in mind, my byline isn't on this list.
You would
so
give
That's
him-
true. I
you
saw
had-
that. I was wondering if you
don't
were going to
put
bring
any
it
of the
up.
blame on me.
Yeah. This is when you were still just Soul Collector only
Yeah.
and not doing complex
Yeah.
stuff. The issue that you had a lot of ire for that year was the Justin Timberlake Super Bowl Air Jordan 3s.
Yeah, I still do. I never cared about a Justin Timberlake Air Jordan. Actually, I never cared about a Justin Timberlake anything. So I, same opinion as I had. Actually, no. What's the one album I like? When I was in high school, I definitely
Justified?
boogied a lot to. No, what is it? Love, Sexy, Future
You never got
Sound.
into your
What is that
feelings
called?
to Love Stoned?
No, there's some. Yeah, I lied when I said I don't care
I
about
like-
anything Justin Timberlake. I care about a handful of Justin
You know what's
Timberlake
funny
songs
is
in
that
the late 2000s.
I hate this shoe.
Timberlake,
mid-2000s.
Timberlake's been one of my grails on sneaker shopping.
Do you think I'm holding it back by talking shit about him? I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying. Sorry.
Go to
Who
his
cares?
camera.
One of the
Leave me
shoes
out of
that
it.
came
Leave
out
me
this
out of
year that actually ended up becoming what we thought the React was going to become, which I think is a completely awful sneaker.
Okay.
And not to throw shade, but I know, Joe, you don't mind it so much. Air Max 270.
We would never put that on a top 10 list.
No, but it's.
But-
But it
It's
is
a
one of the
very
10.
popular shoe.
It is one of the 10 biggest sneakers of 2018.
huge.
Yeah. Still
In
big.
retrospect,
Still
right?
Big,
It's
yeah.
huge. Still
Like
big.
if you were
Yes, still big.
if you're making the time capsule, because you have to think about it. I guess in some extent these lists are a time capsule for 2018 because kids are going to go back and they're not going to look at every single shoe that came
Right.
out in 2018. They're just going to see these are the 10 best releases. So we're putting kind of sneaker culture in a nutshell for that year. Is that too
No,
far
no.
off?
I'm with you.
So I don't think the
Are you
Air Max.
looking at the sneakers so far list?
No, I'm just looking at just a
okay.
list of shoes that had come out during that year. But if you're making a time capsule for 2018 for like 1,000 years from now, I think you drop the Air Max 270.
You put it in there just to help people understand that
Like this
was
is
a
what's
massive
going on in
shoe.
the sneakers at the time.
Yeah.
More so than the React.
It's a good topic. That's a good, interesting.
Wow. We could just go another
We
hour
must have
on
just
it.
loved the React.
I mean,
We must have just. Yeah.
React
What
was
do you
a-
see people wearing more
Oh,
nowadays?
no comparison. I see people working out in 270s still.
Aren't you one of those people?
I don't work out in 270s
Did you-
anymore.
Okay, thank
yes,
you.
I did.
Thank you.
Not ashamed.
Appreciate the caveat.
Yes. Keep going. This is good.
Other stuff that came out that year. Ronnie had his milestone LeBron 15.
That was big. I'm sure that was on the cusp.
Yeah, I mean, we can't deny that those weren't huge. Other shoes, this shoe was awful. The Supreme Air Force Ones with the NBA logos all over them. Remember that
Yeah,
shoe?
no, those don't need to be anywhere near a top 10
A
list.
shoe that I love personally, Air Jordan, the South Korea Seoul Air Jordan 3s that have the Korean flag on
Yeah,
the
that was
toes.
a
red.
cool one. That was
Isn't
a cool
that
one.
the shoe that PJ Tucker's said he
Yes.
was trying to hunt down? I don't think they
Very
made
limited.
They didn't
Mayer
make
has
it in
those.
his size.
That's a good one.
Number 8 on our list that did make it. I don't know how you feel.
You said
One that-
did make it?
Yeah, that did make it. Number 8, Canary Diamond Dunk.
Oh, great shoe!
You think
Best shoe ever.
You think it's at its right place?
it's tough, right? Because it's like I think that shoe is amazing. Shout out Nick.
Shout out him almost ruining it.
Yeah, and thanks for the shoes. But
ASMR.
also, yeah, come back on the pod in person, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd
Need
be
that.
Amazing.
Need
Also,
that.
there's the rumor of him. We like squashed the rumor of the red.
Red Diamond Dunk.
Yeah,
Man,
I
we
wouldn't
need
be
Nick in
surprised if
studio.
there was still some
he told
sequel in
he
store.
told me that it's not coming out, so we ran with it.
Yeah. You're
But
right.
the Tiffany, the Canary, it was like almost friends and family ish.
Right.
It released at that jewelry store.
Yeah. Well, they tried to release it at Complex Con, of course.
And there was a riot. Brendan Dunne almost got like choked out.
You gave me the D Wade to LeBron.
Oh yeah, I
alley-oop.
got him a pair of those.
And we have so many. We told all those stories
Yeah.
on the here before.
Yeah, I
right?
mean there
Check
was
the
like
catalog,
kids
yeah.
rush. I think like 2J's was in part of a crowd that was like rushing at the gate.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Really?
He was in
Yeah,
line. He was in
I
line with a
didn't
bunch of
really-
like other
I
resellers,
didn't
and they
really
were
know
like,
him at that point. Yeah.
I don't want to say that he was the one rushing at the
No,
gate.
not
but
an
he
instigator,
was,
but-
he was like in a crowd that was like trying to like get
Yeah.
into it, and then
Which I appreciate. You know, people are out here trying to bust their ass
Dre
to get these
Croatian
shoes.
Styles, who's obviously good friends with Nick,
Yeah.
was at the gate, and he was like trying to like slam the gate back and push people like.
Crazy.
This is the zombie apocalypse
Crazy.
moment.
Crazy.
you got a Croatian style on your team for the zombie apocalypse.
Complex Con coming back.
Yeah.
We're back.
Might
Go
have some
get
more of those
tickets.
moments. Yep.
Complex Con.
Complex Con is back, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, great shoe. But you're like talking about like if we start this conversation off talking about, some people say that the Air Jordan 11 Concord is their
Yes,
favorite,
yes.
their favorite shoe of the year because it's their favorite shoe they bought within 2018. Then the Canary Dunk is the complete opposite end of
Yeah.
that spectrum, where
Yeah.
it
You
may
didn't even see it in real life.
Fair.
it's like one of those shoes that like Dior Jordan 1, to some people, they're like, this is the greatest shoe ever. But the only place you've ever seen that shoe is a celebrity wearing it or inside a
Kid
sneaker resale shop. It's
Yeah.
like a Red October. You may say the Red October is one of the greatest shoes of all time, but it's not a shoe that you've actually physically interacted with.
Yes.
So it's
It's hard for us to rank those.
Maybe that's
super
why it's
high.
at 8.
But where do you?
Even though we're still going to put the Louis Vuitton Air Force One as.
But
a
where
sneaker
do you?
of the year this year. Let me
I
put
guess
that
that's
PSA out
tough.
there.
Where do you draw the line of like?
It's a balancing act that it
Yep.
does always.
That's why this
always in
list is-
question for
It
us.
can't be all like friends and family shoes.
Totally.
Like,
No, and I think sometimes that takes away from it if it's too exclusive, but I don't think that precludes it from being high on a list, which again is important for me to say because some coworkers are already ready to argue with me about the Louis Vuitton Air Force One come end of the year time when we crown the sneakers of the year for 2022, but we'll
You gonna
save
put
our
your foot
energy.
down?
We'll save our energy. I'll drink some coffee that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll be a Dunkin'.
Number 9, Adidas Yeezy 500.
great shoe. Honestly one of my personal favorite
My-
Adidas Yeezy shoes.
Same.
I think it's a great model. I love it much more than like a 350. Just
Yeah.
Same. That's my go-to when I like wear Yeezys, the black and gray.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I still don't have a pair of these.
Black and gray one.
great shoe. I wish they had done more with it, like
Color blocking, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it has so many opportunities that like another word that they can unlock.
There we go.
I mean, it just has like it really has so much potential. Just because the other Yeezys, like 350s, there's not much you can really do with like a prime knit
Yeah.
as far as like color variations
Yeah.
go on it.
There's
But
just
with
that one piece, right?
that shoe has so many panels on it where I'm like, there's so much you could do with
Yeah,
it. I
get
know it doesn't
busy.
really fit within the Yeezys sort of athleisure
Yeah, a lot of like monochromatic stuff, right?
aesthetic, but you could do a lot with it.
Sure.
The weird thing too about 2018, and this isn't going to make the list, but another sneaker trend from that time period that became a thing was the year that the white and blue Air Monarch like popped up and ironically became a thing again.
Really?
Might become a thing. Yeah, soon.
What do you
Some Air Monarch talk.
Won't that be?
Nope.
No.
We'll see. You never
Okay.
know.
Okay. Yeah.
There was like Nike had released like a Father's Day like
Yep.
camping version of it.
Was Martine Rose that year or Martine Rose?
No,
came?
that was after it.
Yeah,
But they had
okay.
done like a kind of a camping version of it for Father's Day. That was a
I mean, I don't remember that at all. I trust you because your memory has proven itself time and time again. But
You'll remember this. It was like
no, I'm just saying I don't remember that year being the year that the Monarchs had that.
You don't
ironic
remember
cool
that
around
moment?
them. Not really, but it makes total sense, especially when you think about tangentially related, or maybe tangentially is too loose. It's a bit stronger than that, but the Balenciaga Triple S is in some way related to the Monarch,
Yeah,
right? Of
also
dad
the
shoes,
same-
chunky
Balenciaga Triple
shoes.
S.
Should it be on the top 10 sneakers of the year list, Joe?
For 2018?
Let's go real quick. Do you put it on the list?
You know what? I'm not arguing for it, but if someone wants to say that it's on it, I'm not arguing against it.
Yeah.
I go yes.
Yeah. I would put it on the list.
If you
now,
told me
if
it's
we
on the
remade
list, I go, you know what? I don't like it, but you know what? I get it.
I would say I hate it, but
I can
do
see.
your
There's
thing.
there's certain moments on these lists where I concede to things where I'm like, hey, you know what? That maybe that's not one of my personal top 10 sneakers of the year list, but if you say that's on the list, I can't really come up with an argument against it.
Not something you're going to be huffing and puffing about on the New Jersey Transit on the way home.
No. Other shoe in that same vein that came out that year that ended up being a big thing, literally, was the Versace chain reaction.
Yeah.
That kind of
Yeah, I think that still does.
introduced the world to Salehi Bembury for all intents and purposes.
Yeah,
I know he had to be doing stuff before that, but
Yeah, I think that was an important shoe and helped signify what was coming in terms of designer shoes and how much more people were into those in the years to follow. But maybe not quite.
But it was also I think this is maybe a good tie it up moment on this conversation is it was also a huge signifier of what was to come, not just designer shoes, but you talk about the React being the #1 shoe of the year. And it was very much that like minimalistic footwear approach of like Ultra Boost NMD, where it's like that was what was hot and that's what was running sneakers at the time. And that's why we thought that shoe was #1.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then you also had this new crop of, and this was also the same time that New Balance had slowly kind of stepped its
the
foot
momentum
back
was
in.
coming.
The V4 was having a moment at that time. Ronnie ended up re-releasing that United Arrows collaboration on the 997.5. But you had that like chunk in the Monarch. You had that chunky dad shoe moment.
There was stuff bubbling.
And that sort of, I feel like that stuff going on, and then the popularity of the Air Jordan 1 to come, which was kind of set off by the Union, and also that year too. Sorry to not remember, it was that gold toe Air Jordan 1.
That was the same year?
Yes, not the Union one, but like
I know.
The other one.
the mass
patent leather.
the one that was everywhere.
Yeah.
And that kind of really set off
Big-
the Air
big
Jordan
Tony
1
shoe.
to some extent.
Big Rich Lopez shoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that set off the Air Jordan 1 to some extent. So at that moment, I feel like you really had dad shoes, chunky shoes, and Air Jordan 1 on the cusp. And we have maybe had said that we thought that the React was the #1 trend at the time, but maybe we didn't see that like there was kind of like a tidal wave coming in.
That was the opposite of that.
Yeah, kind of, and we had spoken about that, like enough sock shoes. And then this was what the wave that came in that kind of washed that all out.
Yeah, the response.
I like this.
This was fun.
This was good. Let us know what years you want us to revisit for sure. But this was a good exercise. I like that you pulled out all the ones that didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. This has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. We hope everyone has a great weekend. Please like, subscribe. We will see you next week.